It was drama in Bahama on this day many, many years ago. Are you wondering what this was? I'll put you out of the misery in a few minutes. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sultani Yes Mama. If you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for dropping by once again. If you haven't subscribed yet, why not subscribe by clicking the subscribe button and clicking on the notification bell so that you receive updates of my video uploads. If you're here for the first time, welcome to my channel. So what I do here is just share the important events that have happened in history. The idea is, when negative events occur, when a war is about to break out, for instance, that's worst case scenario, obviously, or there's some sort of protest, or there's something happening in the world. The pandemic, for instance, we're in this period of a pandemic now. It's not the first time we've had a pandemic. We had the Spanish influenza just over a century ago. Now we have COVID-19. So how do we respond, especially with the conspiracy theories, that people are going to be injected with microchips so that we can be monitored, the whole hullabaloo about 5G, and so on and so forth. These things have happened before. Obviously not exactly the same. There was no 5G 100 years ago. The point is, at least we're able to look back into history and we have less fear and worry. We know that, okay, these things have happened before. If we think that they're going to turn out negatively, what can we do to avert that disaster in quote? Now, again, this is worst case scenario. But if we are not learning from the past, at least we are educating ourselves, we are entertaining ourselves as well. We are questioning our preconceptions about history, preconceptions about ourselves as well, preconceptions about the way people from other countries lived in the past, so that we have a more holistic view of ourselves as human beings, whatever political leanings we have, race, sexual orientation, whatever it is, we are able to form a more well-rounded view of ourselves. Hopefully this channel would help you achieve that. So let's get cracking. I don't want to waste your time. Let's get to business. So on this day in history, in 1872, we're going to roll back our blind. The first African-American governor of an American state, P.B.S Pinchback, was elected. So this is P.B.S Pinchback, governor of Louisiana, elected on this day in 1872. So in 1872, Louisiana had its first African-American governor. Okay, in the US, obviously, if you have a drop of black in you, you're regarded as a black man or woman. This guy was probably a quarter black, but it's regarded as black. In South America here, it's the opposite. So go figure. We make all these rules about race, which is quite interesting. But this guy actually looks more white than black. But that's what he's regarded as. I guess he regarded himself as black as well. Okay, so next on this day, 1911 was the year, and his name is Naguib Mahfouz. He's an Egyptian novelist and screenplay writer, the first Arabic writer to be awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature. He was born on this day in Cairo. Quite like this watercolor painting of him. Quite beautiful, Okay, so again, 1911, Naguib Mahfouz, the first Arabic writer to be awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature, was born in Cairo. The year was 1911. 7 years later, 1918, Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn, Russian author, was born. He was born in Kislovodsk, Russia. Died 3rd of August 2008 at the ripe old age of 89 in Troitse-Lykovo, Russia. Now, there's a quote by him here, which states, I've spent well nigh 50 years working on the history of our revolution. In the process, I have read hundreds of books, collected hundreds of personal testimonies, and have already contributed 8 volumes of my own toward the effort of clearing away the rubble left by that upheaval. But if I were asked today to formulate as concisely as possible the main cause of the ruinous revolution that swallowed up some 60 million of our people, I could not put it more accurately than to repeat, men have forgotten God. That's why all this has happened. Interesting. So this is a quote from Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn. Solzhenitsyn. Okay, so again, Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn, Russian author, born on this day in 1918. Some sort of revolutionary, I guess. Okay, so for those of you who know a bit about him, I guess you can drop comments in the comment section. Tell me what you know about him. If you don't know about him, go check him out. But I'm sure there are books out there about him. There's information on the internet about Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn. 1922, on this day, Dilip Kumar, Indian actor, was born. So it's happy birthday, Dilip Kumar. You can see him with this camera, old-fashioned camera behind him. Yeah, I thought this picture was quite interesting, so that's why I chose it. So Dilip Kumar, born on this day, Indian actor. 4 years later, Thornton Willie Mae, or Big Mama, was born. 1926 was the year. She was born outside of Montgomery in rural Anton, Alabama. Okay, so again, this is Big Mama Thornton Willie Mae Thornton, born on this day in 1926. Who was Willie Mae Thornton? So Big Mama was a rhythm and blues singer and songwriter. She was the first to record Leiber and Stoller's Hound Dog in 1952, which became her biggest hit, staying 7 weeks at #1 on the Billboard R&B chart in 1953 and selling almost 2 million copies. So, 1926, born Willie Mae Thornton. She died in 1984. Okay, 1935. It's happy birthday, Pranab Mukherjee, President of India, born on this day in 1935. A year later, this was the day that the abdication of King Edward VIII took place. And I'm going to blow up this letter right here and I'll read it so we can read it. So it says, the title is Instrument of Abdication. I, Edward VIII of Great Britain, Ireland, and the British dominions beyond the seas, King, Emperor of India, do hereby declare my irrevocable determination to renounce the throne for myself and for my descendants, and my desire that effect should be given to this instrument of abdication immediately. In token whereof I have hereunto set my hand this 10th day of December 1936 in the presence of the witnesses whose signatures are subscribed. So all those who signed, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's one just out of shot, which I shall try and get into shot. There we go. So these are the people who signed. There's Albert, Edward, Henry, and George at the bottom. Look like royal people. Anyway, so this was the day history was made. I'll show you some more pictures of the king who abdicated to marry his American sweetheart, Wallis Simpson. So this is the announcement, obviously. as it happened, and that's his love of his life, a woman who he abdicated the throne to marry, because he couldn't marry a divorcee. She was a divorcee, and for him to marry her, he had to step down. And so he did. So, would you do the same thing for the woman that you love? Give me your answer in the comment section below. But yeah, he's a brave man. He knew that his descendants would not benefit from being royalty. Well, royalty to this degree. I guess they were royalty in some other way, but they were never really going to rule the United Kingdom anymore. So, Duke of York, the new king. Right, so let's move on. Let's move swiftly on. On this day, in 1943, John Kerry was born, United States Senator and Secretary of State. Former Secretary of State, I should say. So, 1943, this was the day John Kerry was born. So, happy birthday, John Kerry. 3 years later, in 1946, the United Nations program devoted to improving the health, nutrition, education, and general welfare of children was established. So UNICEF was established on this day in 1946. So again, I shall read this. The reason why I do that is for those who may not be able to see this. It says, December 11th, UNICEF is founded. The cornerstones of human progress is in nurturing and caring for children. UNICEF provides children worldwide with food, clothing, and health care. Every 3.6 seconds, one person dies of starvation. Usually, it is a child under the age of 5. And this is a quote from a publication, State of the World's Children, UNICEF in 2005. So that is so sad. It's so sad that in a time this is happening. It's so sad. So we can do a lot to help starving children, to help anyone who is struggling to put food on the table. The same world we live in, where we have billionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, people who can probably feed whole towns and cities without making a dent in their overall standard of living. Yet there are people dying every day. It's so needless, so needless. Okay, some more pictures. Yeah, I'm not showing these to upset anyone, but I think it's important that we realize what's going on in our world. We need reminders sometimes, especially those of us who are born and raised in the West, born and or raised in the West. So I think the pictures say it all. Happy children, hopefully well fed. They look well fed. That's what we want. Right, so let's move on to the year 1967. On this day, this epoch-making and very controversial movie as well, but it was a fantastic idea. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? So that's the title. Obviously, it's written out here, and that's Sidney Poitier, which starred Katharine Hepburn as well, Spencer Tracy also. It was a film that gave us a lesson in racial tolerance and etiquette. It premiered in New York City on this day. If you haven't seen this movie, go check it out. I saw it many, many, many years ago. But obviously, this was a time when racial mixing was frowned upon a lot. It's still frowned upon now in certain quarters. Don't know why, but yeah, it is. On both sides, black and white. So the white people who don't like intermarrying and black people who don't like intermarrying with white people as well. So it happens to this day. Hopefully not as bad as it was 50 years ago, 100 years ago, or during slavery times. So I'll show you some more pictures. So this story is about the getting to see the other side, more clearly, especially from the white perspective. There are certain assumptions about race. Because someone is black, people have assumptions and preconceived notions that this is the way this person behaves because I've seen a certain subset of that race behave in a certain way, or most people of that race behave in that certain way, so everyone must behave in that way. It's a lazy way of categorizing people. That's my own opinion anyway. People are people. People are people. It doesn't matter what color they are. Yeah, people are people. So go check this film out if you haven't seen it. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Absolutely fantastic movie. Okay, so let's now move on to the same year that this movie premiered. Monique was born. That's her. Monique, renowned contemporary African-American actress, comedian, talk show host, and author, best known for her role in the UPN series The Parkers as Nikki Parker. She has hosted a number of shows as a stand-up comedian, like Showtime at the Apollo. So this is Monique. Happy birthday, Monique. She is, believe it or not, Monique is 53 today. So happy birthday, Monique. The Indian chess player Viswanathan Anand was born on this day. So that's him pictured here. Born in 1969 on this day, Viswanathan Anand, Indian chess player. 1978 on this day, this was the day of the $5 million heist at John JFK Airport in New York. So, John F. Kennedy Airport, nearly $6 million in cash and jewels was stolen from the air cargo building of the German airline Lufthansa at John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York City. At the time, the Lufthansa heist, as it became known, was the largest ever cash theft in the United States. Wow. Okay, so that looks like a book. Harry Hill and Daniel Simone, The Lufthansa Heist, Behind the $6 Million Cash Haul That Shook the World. Yes, the FBI has obviously arrested one of the criminals here. So another picture here detailing how the heist took place. So you got a loading bay at the top. Enter loading bay here. Gang pistol whips guard who tries to stop them. Pistol whips. Never heard that phrase before. I know what it is now. Thieves clip chain link fence here, and then 10th Street over there to the left. So anyway, this is how it happened on this day. Okay, so let's move to the next item. Last but not least, on this day, this is the day that Muhammad Ali fought his last fight. So yes, this is the drama in Bahama. Yes, you got this was how I started the video. I said it was drama in Bahama. Yes, this is what happened. This was a fight that was called Drama in Bahama. Happened on this day in 1981. Muhammad Ali fought his last professional bout, losing to Trevor Berbick in a decision. So it wasn't a knockout, thankfully. He bowed out with his head held high. Speaking of Muhammad Ali. Okay, so more pictures on this day. And yes, the last hurrah, drama in Bahama, Muhammad Ali versus Trevor Berbick. On that note, folks, we have come to the end of today's Today in History. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too long. Forgive me if you found it a bit too long. I always try to keep my videos less than 15 minutes long. Okay. I shall see you tomorrow. Thanks for dropping by again. See you tomorrow, December 12th, for another edition of Today in History. My name again is Sultani Afiosima. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. So see you tomorrow. Stay safe. Bye-bye.